Have you ever come across this object during your daily social media scrolling over the last 2.5 years? Perhaps coloring it red and placing it on top of a bowl will help you figure out where you have seen it first. This is the structure of the spike protein used by the COVID-19 coronavirus to stick to our cells and ultimately infect them. Getting to know the structure of the virus has been fundamental to fight it back. This is the story of how we tackled COVID-19, getting more familiar with structural biology in the process. But what is structural biology? This is the discipline that studies the structure of biological molecules such as proteins or DNA. Proteins are arguably the most interesting of these, since they are the molecules responsible for most processes taking place in all living cells. Protein structure is closely paired with a specific biological function. Therefore, solving a protein structure allows us to understand in detail the function of that protein and change it to our advantage. The COVID-19 pandemic reminded us all of our vulnerability to pathogens, the enemies we cannot see. Since the beginning of the pandemic, science has been providing answers and solutions. Yet, our inability to visualize the coronavirus responsible for COVID caused fear and in some individuals skepticism, weakening the global effort to fight the virus. This is where structural biology came into play. As soon as a couple of months after the first virus identification, scientists worldwide understood what the coronavirus looks like by reconstructing its components. This allowed them to come up with specific solutions, building up 3D models to understand how the virus behaves in our organism, designing drugs to prevent the virus from working properly, and finally, designing vaccines. So far, vaccines have been our main weapons against viruses. These are biological preparations that quickly teach our immune system to seek and destroy microbes. To do so, they use their components, which consist of inactive microbes, or some of their building blocks, and they train our immune cells to recognize them without harming us. Although based on different strategies, most of the COVID vaccines we used during the pandemic put in our body an inactive version of the spike protein, the most prominent of all the coronavirus elements. Studying the structure of the spike protein, scientists managed to make it more stable, thereby maximizing vaccines' effectiveness. These studies contributed to the design of refined and updated vaccines to fight the most recent viral variants. The vaccination campaign owes its success to structural biology, and pictures of the spike protein made their way onto front-page news. However, it was not the only consequence that the COVID-19 pandemic had on our society. Many technical terms that used to be understood only by scientists, like virion, antigen, mutation, became part of our everyday language. Could pictures of proteins and microbes generated by structural biology be the first step towards a larger diffusion of biological awareness and public understanding of our immune system? The pandemic impacted deeply our society, but we can use the tools provided by science to overcome challenges, analyze reality, and eventually structure a solution.